Welcome to Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote. It was a night of fireworks for the candidates running for mayor of New York City. Frontrunners Ron Mamdani, the 33-year-old Democratic socialist, Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York, and Curtis Sliwa, head of the Guardian Angels, running as a Republican. Well, they all wrapped up their second and last general election debate tonight. It was one last chance to get in front of a big audience, an audience of New Yorkers, but also a national audience. And as we know, everyone is watching this election to see what happens next, what happens for the Democratic Party, for midterm elections, and even for President Trump and Republicans. So how'd they do? Let's ask my panel of expert analysts. Back with me for post-debate coverage is J.C. Polanco, attorney and assistant professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, and Kaivan Shroff, Democratic commentator and attorney. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, it was a much more raucous night than the first debate of the general election that we saw about 2 weeks ago. Or last week, rather. Before we get to some of the big moments of the night, I want you to each give me your top line. Did anyone win or lose based on tonight's performance? Kaivan, I'll start with you tonight.
Yeah, I think once again, this wasn't the game changer it needed to be for Cuomo. So in terms of the goals and outcomes of winning this election and being the mayor, Mamdani won. He got through it without getting too beaten up. At the same time, I think if this occurred in a vacuum on style, on some of the punches, some of the new narratives, Cuomo had a strong night.
And JC, what about you? Did anyone win or lose it tonight?
I think Andrew Cuomo won this debate without a doubt. And it was the first time since June that I've been watching Assemblyman Mamdani. Such a skillful orator. I mean, great communicator. He was beaten up pretty bad tonight, and we got to see him without his usual lines rehearsed in front of the bathroom mirror. And I think he got knocked out a couple of times. So Andrew Cuomo wins the night, but everyone was watching. Sliwa's passion came through that screen for all of us to watch.
Well, a lot of punches were thrown. We're going to show a lot of those moments. Let's start with this first one. The candidates were asked about the rising number of homeless children in New York City, about 1 in 7. And it quickly turned into a food fight. Here's the exchange during which you'll hear from all three candidates.
Zoran is a great actor. He missed his calling. Freeze the rent sounds great. Yeah, it affects about 25% of the number of housing units in the city of New York. It's not a new idea. Bill de Blasio did it. It turned out to be a debacle. And it does nothing for 75% of the units. And for the 25, it just postpones the increase and actually causes us to lose units because landlords took them off the market. Yeah, well, the answer to homeless children is you need more affordable housing. And I'm saying freeze the rent was done under de Blasio. It doesn't work. It's a canard and just a great three-word slogan for TikTok. The way to increase availability of affordable housing is to build affordable housing. I was the HUD secretary. I did it all across the country. We have 1% vacancy rate. We're not building enough affordable housing, and you need a competent, productive government to do that. And that's what I've done across the country, across the state. Make government work. You get the supply up, the rents will come down.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa. Okay, Mr. Mamdani, you were named, so you get 30 seconds.
We are in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 children in the New York City public school system being homeless. That means it began when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. And what did he do? What did he do about it? He did not do anything. He spent more money on a singing water fountain at LaGuardia Airport than he did on the average cost of an affordable housing unit. That is the record that we have in display, and what we need is a change in this city, not more of the same.
Yeah, but if I may, the homeless issue, number of homeless since I left, has more than doubled during his administration and the state's administration. Since I left, homeless rate has more than doubled. When I left, the vacancy rate on housing was 4.5%. It's now 1%. This man never even proposed a bill on housing or education. Never even proposed a bill.
Keep going back and forth between the two of you. Mr. Sliwa, it's your turn.
Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. Leave. You fled.
JC, that was just one of many contentious moments. Everyone there seemed to land a punch. Who do you think won that bout?
Andrew Cuomo was giving a lecture on governance and experience and how he's going to go ahead and build and how he did it before. I'm kind of already used to seeing the Mamdani comebacks accusing the former governor of absolutely everything under the sun. What I will never understand, never, ever, ever, is how we understand that there is a divided opposition that if we're united would be the majority of the votes. How in the world does Curtis Lee will go in their scorched earth campaign and continue to beat up on Andrew Cuomo in this fashion when it was just completely out of the blue?
There were some fireworks at one point when Errol Lewis, the debate moderator, who's been on our show, asked Zohran Mamdani his position on the City of Yes ballot initiatives. Here's how that went.
Do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendment questions.
Oh, what a shocker. All right. What a shocker.
We're gonna
Don't
move
worry,
on.
once he takes it, he'll change it anyway.
Kaivan, that moment was called back later by Errol Lewis himself during the debate, where he said he hasn't been specific enough. Was that bad for Mamdani?
It was bad. I know at the outset I said I don't think much has changed in the race from this debate, but this was something that will stick. I do think it will be part of the coverage through Election Day. It will underscore that theme that he's unprepared, that he talks in big policy ideas with no details. He hasn't even thought about initiatives on a ballot that he will be on, that he is asking people to vote for him, and he doesn't know the issues that are going to be on that ballot. So it's a bad moment. It's something the press will certainly stick to. He'll be asked again and again and again, has he thought about it yet? I will say it felt like both Cuomo and Mamdani watched our show last week because Cuomo came with a coherent narrative. He did go for those fights on policy, on competence, and a new line of argument saying it's your administration, pointing out that a lot of the failures of the current moment, he's been a part of Mamdani while Cuomo's been out of office. Meanwhile, Mamdani brought some new lines and he had a new Jewish New Yorker story. So...
Okay, gentlemen, stay right there. I've got a lot more debate sound for you to react to after the break.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
I need help with her snoring.
Sleep Number does that.
Thank you.
And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you.
24% of New York City's population is Black. 28% is Hispanic. Do the math. That's not a minority. Do you really think either one of these two are going to work in your best interest as the next mayor? New York, it's time for a change. It's time to meet James Manning, a true advocate for the people of New York City, a man who has provided an unwavering commitment to this city and is a write-in candidate. Mike Duggan was a write-in candidate in Detroit in 2014 and turned that city around. James Manning will do the same for New York City.
I am James Manning, and I approve this message.
Bring a little joy to your afternoons. Catch Sherry, weekdays at 4 on My 9.
Remember the days of TV antennas and static? Well, now, Fox 5 takes you back to those days to show you what we were all watching on the news in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. Watch That Was the News Then, now streaming on the free Fox Local app. Sit back and time travel with us as we take you back to the biggest headlines, crime stories, and celebrity news from the past. That Was the News Then, now streaming on the free Fox Local app. Watch it wherever you stream.
We're back with more Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote. Let's get back to more big moments from tonight's debate with JC Polanco and Kaivan Shroff. You guys, all of this debate happened tonight on the same day that Republican Curtis Lee angrily walked out of his own radio show after being pressed on why he hasn't dropped out. He spoke to this tonight. Take a listen.
Number one, I have 13 campaign offices open. I'm throughout the outer boroughs. You see the excitement and energy of the working class people that I represent. I am the Republican, populist, candidate representing the working class. And I'm also, Katie, the candidate on the independent line, first ever, put together by my wife, Nancy, who loves animals like so many. Save the animals. No-kill shelters. Animal abusers go to jail. So people know that I'm not just running to protect people, which has been my life as leader of the Guardian Angels. I'm there to protect our pets and animals. Because remember, Mahatma Gandhi said, a society that does not take care of its animals does not take care of its people. Homeless, emotionally disturbed, veterans. I'm out there every day tending to their needs with the Guardian Angels, doing things that the city and state should have been doing a long time ago, but neglected them and instead spent $7 billion on migrants that we don't even know. That is a disgrace.
JC, that was just one of Curtis Sliwa's kind of big moments in the debate. How did he do?
He did very well tonight. He came prepared. He was very angry. You can tell from all of the heat that he's been getting for the last few days, from people that he knows, from people that love him, that care about him, that look up to him, people who have nothing bad to say about Mr. Curtis Sliwa, except for one thing, that we recognize that with Curtis Sliwa in the race, it is impossible to defeat the Democratic Socialists of America. And one of the tough things is that throughout history, the French and the Spaniards get together to defeat the English Empire and help the American colonies get their independence. Lincoln joins forces with Andrew Johnson to defeat McClellan and keep the Union. You go down the list throughout history, there have been strange bedfellows in politics, but for some reason, we cannot see the opposition get together in a New York City local race. A lot of us all over the city will never understand how this is happening at this stage of the game.
Mamdani and Cuomo, Kaivan, for all of their fighting, they agreed on a bunch of things tonight. And Sliwa was often the odd man out, breaking with both of them on everything from injection sites to congestion pricing. Did that set him apart, Kaivan, in a meaningful way, Curtis Sliwa?
I don't know that it did. I saw online there were some folks certainly supporting him and saying he had a strong moment. To me, he's not really a factor. He was even less of a factor just from the setup of this debate where he wasn't in the middle. He wasn't really as prominently featured. And I think, frankly, when he goes on those riffs about animals, it's like, are you auditioning for Wicked? Like, to me, it doesn't land the focus on the animals. Not that animals don't matter, but we're talking about running the city, and he goes in on those rants about animals a lot, the Guardian Angels. And we have to focus on, this is a man who's really been up against zero scrutiny because he's run a million times and nobody thinks he has a chance. Stunning moment where Mamdani said he would rank Sliwa second, I think shows just how much, honestly, voters have lost the plot on policy here, because to your point, Mamdani is much closer to Cuomo on some of the key issues here.
But JC, do you think, though, that Sliwa, who, at least by the applause in the room, had an audience? There was an audience,
of course,
for what Sliwa was selling and saying. Do you think that he improved his chances?
Look, he did not. Look, let me get something very straight, Essie. I live in the Bronx. I see Curtis Sliwa signs everywhere. The man has over 10 offices across the city. There's a lot of energy among Republicans that love Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa is quintessential New York. We all know Curtis. It's not a matter of loving Curtis and seeing his passion. We know it. It's there. We're just looking at the math. And it just doesn't appear that there's a shot in a place where almost 7 out of every 10 voters is a Democrat, that you're going to have a Republican win. So we love Curtis, but we're thinking to ourselves, in order to stop this Democratic Socialists of America from taking over, we got to consolidate. And one more incident I didn't bring up in my example before. The U.S. joined the USSR to defeat Nazi Germany. They were enemies as well. We could go down the list of strange bedfellows. Curtis, I love you, but this is 2 weeks out, man.
You get a history lesson at Battleground.
So many strange bedfellows. You can do it. Think about it.
I appreciate all of this context, gentlemen. This is why you're here. But stay right there. I've got a lot more sound after the break. More Battleground NYC when we return.
Fall makes its mark here. Time to make your mark at the Jeep Drive into Fall event in our most capable Wrangler ever, or the most luxurious vehicle in its class, the Grand Cherokee, with 3 rows of space and tech that keeps you connected from the most awarded SUV brand, Jeep. There's only one, and there's only one Drive into Fall event. Hurry in today for a great deal.
During the Jeep Drive into Fall event, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo X 4x4 for $389 a month. See your tri-state area Jeep brand dealer.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, there's a lot to love. Did it hit your spirit?
Right in the shine on not.
The biggest stars.
Clock it.
Ooh, Mariah Carey!
And all these years now, you're still killing it.
Incredible performances. You got them going. Inspiring stories.
Connection has no color. It's my brother.
You are loved.
I'm about to cry.
Don't you just love this joy? I hope y'all feel the love.
Weekdays at 3 on My 9.
We're back with more Battleground NYC, and again with JC Polanco and Kaivan Shroff. Cuomo and Sliwa hammered Mamdani on his inexperience tonight, with some help from the moderators, frankly. Mamdani did respond. Take a listen to what he said about that.
It is always a pleasure to hear Andrew Cuomo create his own facts at every debate stage. We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Governor Hochul.
You were leading the state for
Governor
10 years,
Hochul.
screwing the city.
No.
You cut
You
homelessness
as a
funding.
legislator.
You cut funding for the
You
MTA.
as a legislator.
You did all of these things, my
That's
friend.
the past 4 years. It's the past 4 years.
Kaivan, how'd that go?
You know, I think it was a good moment for Mamdani, especially online. You know, obviously we're talking about how the debate played out on TV for those watching, but one thing I was noticing as I was on Twitter, obviously the whole time watching, even Curtis Sliwa had such a seamless operation of posting tweets of good moments live within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I was on the digital team for Hillary. That's obviously standard practice. Cuomo's team, anything I saw that I liked, didn't come out for 30 minutes, 60 minutes back online.
Wow.
And there was no support for it. In fact, what they did do is post and delete a pretty racist AI video attacking Mamdani on safety that now I'm seeing drive the conversation more than a lot of those good debate moments for Cuomo. So interesting digital analysis there.
Okay. Public safety and crime came up, of course, and the candidates were asked about New York's decision to raise the age so that 16 and 17-year-olds who commit crimes are not treated like adults. Both Mamdani and Cuomo agreed that should remain. Curtis Sliwa did not. Here was his powerful response.
It's personal for me. My oldest son, Anthony, last October was the victim of a vicious gang assault that could have killed him. And what happened to these juveniles? Cut free, because they went to family court, not criminal court. So how can both of you look at me? I almost lost my oldest son to gang violence, and the perpetrators went to family court and got a little pat on the wrist and was sent home to do it again and again. No. We need to start charging juveniles who commit violent crime in criminal court, and I'll appoint criminal court judges who follow the law and don't just release them because of no cash bail.
Yeah, JC, Curtis has been tying both Cuomo, the architect, and Mamdani, the apprentice, with this no cash bail. And again, with this issue, was that an impactful moment?
The most impactful moment for Curtis Sliwa of the night. That's the Curtis we know. That's the one we've been hearing on the radio for a generation. Yeah. That was amazing. He spoke on behalf of all of those New Yorkers who are tired of the progressive policies on criminal justice. He spoke for a lot of people tonight. That was his big win of the night, connecting it to something as personal as he did. He showed vulnerability, he showed frustration, and he spoke for a lot of people across New York City. So point Curtis Lewa.
And Kaivan, just to put a button on that, you know, he's speaking for Republicans, also speaking for New Yorkers and security moms. And wasn't that pretty effective in saying these two guys to the left of me are for more crime? He didn't say it in those words, but that was what he was implying, and I'm for less.
Well, it's interesting. I do think he actually opened in the debate really clinging closer to Trump than he had before, and it was a reminder, I think, to Democrats that he is a Republican. That answer as well. Now, I will agree with JC and you that it played very well. It was emotional. At the same time, I think it was a good media moment, but do you want somebody that emotional, that sort of, he comes across to me like a very lovable, crazy uncle, and to me, I put that moment, as powerful as it might play, in that bucket still, because what is he doing? He's on a mayoral debate stage, and that's not really, I think, the temperament that people want to see again and again, because he's already had moments like that.
He has, you're right, but I'm hearing it as a parent.
Sure.
And I think if you're a parent, you maybe appreciate that kind of passion for our kids, but we'll have to see how that plays. Do either of you predict that Curtis Lewa will move up in the polls, or no? Just to end the Sliwa of it all.
I don't think so.
No, JC?
I don't think so.
Okay. You guys stay right there. We've got one more break and one more block for these big debate moments to discuss. More Battleground NYC after the break.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
Name some of yours that looks better from a distance. Looks better from a distance. Looks better from a distance.
My spouse.
Girl, is that your husband? Yeah, come on.
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
Stay right here. I'm finna bring some people over here to meet your other.
Weeknights 5 to 8 p.m. on My 9.
Are you suffering from painful inflammation? Tired of medications that just don't work? It's time to take a natural approach and experience the benefits that organic herbs can offer. No harsh chemicals, just pure natural ingredients. Experience long-lasting relief that you deserve with 1 to 2 cups of our soothing, organic anti-inflammatory tea each day. Don't wait, your health matters. Join the thousands of satisfied customers who have found relief. Act now and get healing for just 50 cents a cup from Full Leaf Tea Company. Packed with antioxidants and EGCG. Organic anti-inflammatory tea promotes healing and works to combat chronic inflammation from the inside out. Available in both caffeinated and decaf versions. This powerful remedy is proudly hand-blended in the USA. Scan the QR code to order now and get fast shipping right to your doorstep. Available at fullleafteacompany.com. Scan the code and shop our collection of wellness blends.
Battleground NYC is back one more time with JC Polanco and Kaivan Shroff. Okay, the candidates were asked, this was an interesting kind of conceit. They were asked to address another candidate and ask them a question. They didn't get that right, okay? Most of them didn't really understand the assignment. But Cuomo asked Zoran about some of his controversies. Here's how that went.
To Zoran, I believe, as we've stated, that you have been a divisive force in New York, and I believe that's toxic energy for New York. It's with the Jewish community, it's with the Italian-American community when you give the Columbus statue the finger. It's with the Sunni Muslims when you say decriminalize prostitution, which is haram. It's the Hindus. But then you take a picture with Rebecca Kadaga, Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda. You take a picture with your father. You're smiling. He's smiling. She's known as Rebecca Gay Killer Kadaga.
Question.
You're a citizen of Uganda. You took the picture. You said you didn't know who she was. It turns out you did. How do you not renounce your citizenship or demand BDS against Uganda for imprisoning people who are gay just by their sexual orientation? Isn't that a basic violation of human rights?
I think he gets the question.
My politics is consistent, and my politics is built on a belief in human rights for all people. And that extends to queer and trans New Yorkers, and it extends to queer and trans Ugandans. And had I known that the first deputy minister was the architect of that legislation, I would not have taken that photo. And yet I also know that this constant attempt to smear and slander me is an attempt to also distract from the fact that, unlike myself, you do not actually have a platform or a set of policies to protect those same New Yorkers here. All you have are the insults that you have lobbed at every single opportunity you have.
Yeah. JC, grade Cuomo on the line of attack and then grade Mamdani on his response.
B plus and B minus. B plus for Cuomo, B minus on the response. The response was weak. It was the parable nonsense that we normally hear from Mamdani. Very little substance. The fact is, he did know. It's a lie. His wedding in Uganda also had a lot of folks there that supported this legislation. It's not a secret. I wonder why former Governor Cuomo didn't just go in for the kill and say, I signed marriage equality in New York, Jack. Where were you? So I think he missed an opportunity there to remind New Yorkers who signed the bill, who got the Republicans to join so that can actually be a law.
And bring it back to policy.
Drop the ball there. So B plus, B minus.
Yeah, because we know, I mean, you know, whether it's Obama and Bill Ayers or Reverend Wright or tying Trump to other people, that doesn't generally persuade voters, but the attempt was made. Kaivan, just summing up, we've talked about some of those moments where Mamdani was really pressed. Was this a bad night for Mamdani? I don't know that we've seen him this sort of on the spot. And I think Cuomo and Sliwa's directness might have even made Mamdani look a little more packaged than before. What's your take, Kaivan?
Well, I will say, you know, I think he started out the debate. Cuomo kind of made that Knicks reference and he verbatim repeated it. So that was a tell that he had practiced and rehearsed his opening. But I will say, I actually found him more agile than usual, more off the cuff. He had some good one-liners. But I think what we saw here is a tale as old as time. He's going to get across that finish line a bit bruised and bloodied. He's made a lot of compromises his base is pissed about, including saying he's going to keep Jess Tisch on, by the way, if she accepts, which is another question. He'll take office and everyone will be unhappy with him and he's unlikely to achieve what he said. So I think that's kind of where things will be. Things won't change as much perhaps, and people like that maybe or maybe not. So definitely an interesting dynamic there. I will say one thing in that exchange where Cuomo brings up Hindus and he brings up minority groups in this city. Unspoken undercurrent of this debate is that Zoran Mamdani is one of the most famous people in the country right now. He stands on that debate stage with two people who are mispronouncing his name for 90 minutes. And he goes into that debate making the choice to not correct them again, as he has so many times, because he doesn't want to come across unpleasant. And it's somebody named Kaivan. You know, I'm certainly familiar with that dynamic. And I think it resonates with a lot of people watching who want to give a Cuomo or a Sliwa the benefit of the doubt that it's not even basic professionalism.
Well, he did correct Curtis Sliwa tonight, and Curtis Sliwa said, okay, I'll learn it, I'll get it. But I take your point. JC, this was Cuomo's last stand.
Yeah, this is
I mean, he landed some zingers. He also took some. Did he do what he needed to do tonight?
He left it all on the field. It was clear that he was better prepared. I wish he would have gone in for the kill on a couple of times that he didn't. He dropped the ball a couple of times. But I think he won tonight's debate on substance, on experience, on demonstrating to the viewers that this is a big job. And this is not a job for someone who's unqualified. And I think he painted Assami Mamdani as wholly unqualified for this position, full stop. And that's where I think he did well. I got to tell you this, I'm concerned that it may not have been enough to get him over, only because the opposition continues to be divided. And Assami Mamdani could win this race. He will still win this race without a majority of New Yorkers behind him.
Yeah, with a plurality. Okay, well then the final question, and the one that matters the most, is did this debate change the race? I've been saying for months and reminding our viewers, like 1/8 of New Yorkers turned out in the primary. Lots of folks stayed home. If this was the first time they'd seen the candidates, you might have interesting feelings about this race. So JC, real quick, did this debate change the race?
I think it did. A lot of people watched it, and I think that you're going to see the poll numbers shift. Are they going to shift enough overnight? I don't know, but I definitely think New Yorkers are engaged, and this debate did move the numbers towards Cuomo's side.
And Kaivan, real quick, did this debate change the race?
Thought it was a good debate. Don't think it would change the race. If Cuomo had more time, maybe.
It might be a little too late, I think is what you're saying. We saw Cuomo show up tonight, but maybe too little, too late. Okay, guys, I can't thank you enough, JC and Kaivan, for your expert analysis and your context and opinions on this. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in to Battleground NYC. We'll be back tomorrow and every Monday through Friday until this thing is done. Thanks for watching.